Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies, how the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. American Rebel is a NASDAQ-listed company that focuses on American-made products with a patriotic spin. With me, CEO Andy Ross. Great to have you back here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk to you about, because you've been making safes for years.
Right.
There was this controversy with Liberty Safe. Explain what happened there.
Well, the FBI rolled into Nathan Hughes' home. He's a suspected January 6th individual, and they rolled into the home and they decided that they had a warrant to get into the home, but they didn't serve Liberty with a warrant. But they had a warrant to get into the home, and they just decided to get on the phone and call Liberty, and they gave them the backdoor code to the safe and let them in.
Okay, so, and I saw some of this on social media, you know, they felt like his privacy was invaded, and they found firearms, right, in this safe?
Well,
is that?
Here's the thing. If you manufacture safes, the people who are buying that safe, they are about privacy, security. If I manufactured lawn chairs, people would expect them not to rust. I manufacture safes. People expect us to honor their privacy. And you're not just honoring the individual's privacy, you're respecting and defending privacy as a whole. It's privacy here that's on trial.
Yeah, and there wasn't even a court order, right, for that safe. So that was the issue.
Liberty did not take the issue, take it to court. You see a lot of these tech companies like Apple, they'll get a warrant, they'll fight it, they'll go to court, they'll take it to the fullest extent of the law, which we would do here at American Rebel and Champion Safe. But Liberty didn't. They've just pretty much handed them right over.
So that was, I was going to ask, how would you have handled that differently?
Well, first of all, again, we would be protecting their privacy as if it was our own. We would definitely require them to give us a subpoena or a warrant. Then we would fight that subpoena or warrant into the court to the fullest extent of the law that we could, and do everything we could to protect their privacy. However, I will say, you know, a professional with the proper tools and knowledge, you know, can get into a bank vault. Before it went through all that process, if the FBI really wanted to get into that safe, they could destroy it and get into it by dark. So I'm really confused why Liberty would just roll over and do such a thing.
Just do that. How has this affected American Rebel?
We've been, you know, just flooded with calls from all sorts of reasons. A lot of it we expected, and we're getting a lot of calls we didn't expect. There's a big dealer down south that has a big event coming up. They've been running ads on radio. The radio station said, hey, we can't continue to run your ads. We're getting too much backlash. Wow. We have there's stores all over the country where people are going in going, you sold me a Liberty safe 6 months ago. I want you to come get it. I want my money back. So, you know, we're definitely receiving a lot of calls about the backlash that's going on. And, you know, as a businessman, we're not disappointed in picking up a lot of new dealers and you know, opting in the business. But it's a bad look for the safe business all the way around is the big picture. And again, it's privacy that's on trial and it needs to be protected.
Yeah. Okay, so safe business aside, what else is going on with American Rebel?
Oh, American Rebel, you know, we're America's patriotic brand, and I'm finally getting to do something I've had in the works for a couple of years. We're real excited. I am introducing America's patriotic, God-fearing, Constitution-loving, national anthem singing, stand your ground beer. So look out, American Rebel beer is coming, and we're going to softly roll it out in November in a couple states and go nationwide with it starting the first of the year.
Tell me about the beer. Is it just one flavor at this point? What state's going to be sold? How do people find it?
We're good to go in all states, so we're going to open them up as fast as we can. And like I said, we're going to be a little conservative the rest of this year and through the holidays, but come January, we're going to hit it hard. Our first offering is a lager and a light, right? So we will be, you know, looking at a market that's been kind of voided and people are looking for an answer for. So what else would American Rebel do but feed into that? And then we're going to do a line of kind of the higher gravity beers. Our first beer has what they call poundability. Then we're going to get into some of our higher gravity beers, your IPAs and your unfiltered wheats and so on. And we're going to call that our American Rebel Constitution line. So we'll have our regular American Rebel Light, and then we'll have, you know, brands like our American Rebel Constitution, our We the People Wheat, and you know, we're just really looking forward to getting out there and putting a dent in this market. I would like to say, you know, the beer market is a $44 billion annual market right here in the United States. So it's by far the biggest playing field that we've been able to be in and be involved in. And you know, the initial feedback from distributors and people all over the country is, you know, we're sitting on lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, well, and Bud Light, of course, had their well-publicized issue,
Yes.
and you know, maybe you're just waiting on these other companies to make mistakes, and you can come in and offer an alternative.
You know, when you're American Rebel, things just kind of fall in your lap sometimes.
And I understand you have a single.
I do.
Yes.
I have a song out called I Stand For You. It's doing extremely well. Very proud of the song. And, you know, turn on your radio and check it out. It's also available on all digital formats.
And next time you need to bring some beer.
I will bring some beer, and next time also we've got an I've already written the jingle for the beer, so check that out as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy.
AmericanRebelBeer.com.
Society Pass is an acquisitions-focused e-commerce company building the next-generation digital ecosystem in Southeast Asia. And with me is the Chief Marketing Officer, Rokas Sidlauskas. So great to have you here from the Philippines.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And I know SOPA, Society Pass, really focuses on Southeast Asia. So let's talk about that, the geography of that, and what are the benefits and challenges of being in Southeast Asia?
Well, that's a great question. I think it's one of the most exciting things about our business, the actual geography. We count just over 650 million people in that part of the world. Some statistics are just astounding. Vietnam, for example, is over 100 million people, and over 55% are under 30.
Amazing.
Plenty of opportunity.
And very digitally connected.
Very tech savvy,
Right.
very quick to adopt new technologies. So we think it's the best place in the world to be building a business.
Yeah, it's
it's always growing.
Perfect fit for SOPA to be there.
Exactly.
Give us kind of a rundown of what Society Pass is doing.
So we are focused on building a next generation digital ecosystem and loyalty platform. We looked at the loyalty business model, and we identified that it can be significantly improved. Currently, the loyalty falls under two primary buckets. We have a business-centric loyalty. Think of your Starbucks loyalty points, right? Okay. It's nice to get a free coffee, but unfortunately, there are certain limitations. So if you take your Starbucks points to Canada, they don't work. Our loyalty platform is multi-geography and multi-business verticals, right? So you can earn points by engaging with our travel business and spend them via our lifestyle and e-commerce or F&B or a telecom business that we operate in Singapore.
So you've got a lot more kind of flexibility.
Absolutely.
For the user then. And we're talking about Vietnam, Philippines, Singapore.
We operate in 5 markets in Southeast
Right.
Asia. We're headquartered in Singapore. We have operations in the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Singapore, of course.
Yeah. Now, I introduced this saying acquisition focused, and I know from talking to your CEO a few times that you've tried, you know, there's travel and there's food delivery and there's all these different verticals that you're operating in. Explain all the different areas.
So in Indonesia, we have acquired the oldest online travel agency called Nusatrip. In Vietnam, we have a lifestyle and fashion e-commerce platform. We operate a very successful digital marketing business out of Bangkok. We recently opened up offices in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, in Manila, Philippines, as well as Jakarta. That business is growing very rapidly. We also operate a travel eSIM business called Gorilla out of Singapore. and a couple of smaller F&B businesses in the Philippines. So there's definitely a very nice synergy between them.
Is there anything that you think is missing that you might like to acquire?
Well, we definitely have pretty aggressive expansion plans. Would love to enter a couple of more geographies, such as Malaysia, for example. And over the next 3 to 5 years, we're definitely looking to expand and acquire complementary businesses that will add value to our users and expand the service offering to our customers.
And what about the opportunities there? I mean, are there any additional opportunities or ways for expansion that you're looking
Absolutely. You know, I mentioned that it's a population of over 500 million in the markets that we operate. But would you believe it if I said that less than 70% of people are, less than 30% of people are banked in the traditional sense, the way we understand in the West, right? So there's about 70% of the population who is unbanked in its traditional sense. So the opportunity and the challenge is, how do you take that part of the population and digitize them and bring them into the online experiences that we're building?
Interesting. That sounds like that could be some potential growth since everybody's mobile.
Exactly.
Right?
Everybody has a phone in the
for
pocket.
some kind of fintech opportunity.
You know, we're putting a lot of focus in terms of connecting and finding ways how to bring them to this online world. So a good example is there's been a massive rise of digital e-wallets in Southeast Asia, where essentially, in layman terms, a person is able to go to any corner shop, take their cash. A lot of Southeast Asia still operates on cash. They can take it to a corner shop, and the money will be put on this e-wallet that then, if the wallet is connected to e-commerce sites or any other services online, they're able to interact and pay for them.
Yeah, very interesting. Sounds like you've got a lot of potential growth ahead.
Absolutely. There's, you know, we think our future plans are very exciting, and we look forward to the next couple of years.
Thank you so much, Rokas, for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Did you know that a staggering 65% of young adults lack basic financial literacy skills? This alarming data highlights a critical problem in America, one that we can help solve together. That's why you need to visit bcs-kids.com today and introduce your young loved ones to the Sensibles, superheroes on a mission to help kids ages 6 through 12 develop smart money habits, learn basic economics, and have fun while doing it. Subscribe now. Our kids' future depends on it.
PreveCeutical is a health sciences company that develops innovative options for preventative and curative therapies utilizing organic and nature-identical products. And the company aims to be a leader in the preventative health sciences sector. With me is Stephen Van Deventer, the chairman and CEO. Great to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
To have you here. So talk about your background and your corporate life and what brought you here.
So I'm an investment banker by trade. I've been doing so since the 90s, and I usually focus on alternative type of projects. However, back in the early to 2013, around then, I got involved in the cannabis sector, and I was one of the people that spearheaded, or the person that spearheaded taking the company public, raising the money, and starting Aurora Cannabis. Oh. And while doing that, I had a lot of people I started talking to through the medical industry saying, you know, you've got to look for solutions that we actually provide data to doctors. Doctors won't say, here, just take this. We need actual clinical data. And that's how I decided to go into preventive medicine and learning in the medical field.
Interesting. And I've been hearing a lot of talk lately about how important preventative medicine is, that try to prevent us from getting in the hospital and racking up all these huge bills and things like that. So is that what drew you to this industry?
Yes, absolutely. You know, curative therapies is like putting a Band-Aid on it. We really want to try and solve the issues before they actually become larger issues. For example, the opioid crisis. You know, we're trying to handle the opioid crisis by having treatments for mentally ill people or people with addictions. We need to find a way to stop it before it gets there. And hence why one of our solutions is a non-addictive painkiller that you cannot get high with, you cannot create tolerance, and you cannot overdose or get addicted. So it's important for us to be able to not have that medication in the hospitals, and when people leave, they have to take for a while, then wean off it, because that's when the addiction starts.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What is that treatment?
So basically, it's a peptide. We've got a library of peptides we have developed with our nature identical technology of how we actually synthesize it. And we've got some really strong candidates that we've done some preclinical trials on mice, et cetera, that show us that it's extremely strong. It's stronger than any morphine or opioids. And we've been written up in a couple of pharmaceutical journals with respect to other peer-reviewed people giving us reviews and what they thought of it. And right in there, they've said it's non-addictive, it's stronger than any morphine or heroin or opioids, and doesn't have all the side effects. So we're now moving into the clinical trial division. And on top of that as well, because of the opioid crisis, and it's not just a standalone crisis that happens in North America and the United States, Canada, and Australia, and all through Europe, there would probably be a provision for fast track status so we can fast track it. So ultimately, depending on funding and getting through the funding, if we had all the money we need for the clinical trials, we could probably wrap it up within a couple of years.
Have there been independent peer reviews?
We've had two of them, one from the British Journal of Pharmacology and the other one's out of Lumers out of Switzerland, which are the two highly respected ones.
Mm-hmm. And then talk about the team you assembled when you started this company.
That is very important. In this company, I'm probably the least educated in my team. And because, the only way we're going to be successful is having real career people that understand pharmacology and pharmaceuticals. And so the important people I have is like Dr. Matt Jawadika. He's the president and chief science officer. He was with Pfizer for 28 years and was responsible for creating the drug Zoloft, amongst other ones. I have Dr. Linnea Olofsson, who's basically a microchemical engineer, so to speak, in the pharmaceutical space. We have Dr. Ajit Shetty, who was with Johnson & Johnson for 36 years, and he was the chairman of Janssen Pharmaceutical till probably not so long ago. So and Dr. Harry Perek, who does all of as our chief research officer, has been working on these type of projects for years to develop these new technologies. So really a grade A team internationally and well connected in the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay, well, I hope that you bring us up to date on these trials and things, because it's an important problem to solve. So thank you so much, Stephen.
Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis can be difficult to treat and debilitating for an animal's health and well-being. Take control of lameness issues and joint pain. Introducing Spring with OsteoCushion technology. With just one injection, Spring with OsteoCushion technology targets the root cause of lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis, helping animals do what they do best.
Tain is a self-taught oil painter, born and raised in Beijing, China. While studying at graduate school in New York State, she answered a lifelong calling of making visual art her profession. So with me is Hope, and to talk about your art, let's just start with you. Tell me about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me here. I am a self-taught oil painter, currently living in Eastern Massachusetts with my family. I came to the States in the late 90s. To study MBA in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have been painting for over 12 years. In 2011, I started my first painting, which was a portrait of African elephants. Actually, it was a birthday gift for my son. Mm. And later did I realize then it was a birth of my art career. In the beginning, I painted like portraits mainly, but over the years, my interest in the subjects of artwork has expanded widely. On any given month, I could be painting landscapes, seascapes, still lifes, cityscapes, could be painting expressive, imaginary, figures and images. So
So
pretty much.
you've come a long way, it sounds like, since you started. What inspires you?
Oh, so many. Can be anything, anytime. The masterpieces in the museums. Sometimes the feeling of nostalgia after talking with my childhood friend on the phone. And the stories from other people, especially for those commissioned work I took. And sometime a joke with a good friend too. And of course, love. Love is a huge inspiration for me. So, when the days inspiration seems walk away, and the blank canvas just stares back at me in defiance, I know, they will come to me as long as I keep my heart open, my mind curious and hungry.
What has art taught you?
So much. Art has taught me so much. But one of the most important lessons I learned from it is nothing is impossible. And it made me more fearless about living. And I just feel I'm so blessed that I have been surrounded by wonderful people such as my family, friends, the collectors around the globe. And it just feels so blessed.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming. I mean, you can tell that you're expressing yourself through the art of what you're experiencing in life. So thank you, Hope.
It's been such a heartfelt joy to be here today, and thank you for letting me to share my thoughts about art.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your data is vulnerable to hackers, with email being the cause of 91% of all cyber attacks. Introducing SKUR, Swiss-hosted, data-mine-free, private and secure solutions to protect your communications. Secure Mail offers secure and private email communication. Secure Messenger offers private and secure chats. Secure VPN encrypts your internet traffic and protects your digital identity. Regain your privacy today. Visit SKUR at sekur.com.
Welcome to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur. Our weekly hack topic is question. Have you received unsolicited mobile text messages with an unfamiliar number that might ask you to give a response from USPS? Don't click it. I recently got 2 of them on my text message. And what's strange is I do order a lot of things through the mail, so I would naturally click it. But since talking with you the past few years, Alain, I don't click anything anymore. And this is called smishing. So will you break this down? What's going on and how do we protect our data?
Yes, I've seen a couple of those texts myself because I do have a dual SIM card and one of them is US. And this is what you used to get as an email. Sometimes I get them at email as well. If it's not USPS, it's one of these couriers, those 2-3 big couriers. We all know the brands. And the reason why they can do that is because they know somehow that you're using that service, or you go to online shopping and you get a lot of stuff delivered via USPS or these couriers. We're all doing it, obviously. And by the way, during COVID, there was an explosion of that. So the hackers got a ton of new data. And when you start a habit, usually you don't stop it. And we continue to shop online, offline, but definitely online. And that's exactly how they get you, because they know that phone number has received legitimate type of notices. So now they're going to smish you, basically. It's kind of like phishing, but for text. Right. It imitates a legitimate company, a legitimate thing. You think it's legitimate, you click on it, and then you have a malware installed on your phone, or they suddenly virus your phone. And the idea is for them to capture all the data that's on your phone. That's exactly why we don't ask phone numbers when we require for any of our secure solution, for example. But that's what's happening. It's getting worse, and yeah, so that's the issue.
So be wary of smishers out there. That's the new term we have to be aware of. So talk a little bit about your secure solutions, and especially the recent launch of your VPN.
Yes, so we have a secure VPN, a secure mail, and secure messenger. As a matter of fact, there's so much fraud in the US that for the messenger, we have a thing called chat by invite, where you can text someone who doesn't have secure and chat with you. Out of the 80 countries that we work with, the US is the only one that is changing the rules all the time. So we're reworking the system so that 100% of recipients can get a text from us, because some phone carriers will block it because there's so much spam out there. That's just saying, you know, what's happening in the texting world. But we have our secure VPN, which uses only Swiss IP addresses, our own infrastructure. That's a great way to protect your IP and your identity, because you want to protect and reduce the footprint that you're putting, the little breadcrumbs, when you go all over the internet. A good solid VPN, like obviously ours, which is proprietary, our own infrastructure, no third-party hosting, no data mining, no traffic mining, or what have you. That's a great way to protect your internet traffic from these guys. Another thing is secure mail. If you do send emails back and forth, we recommend, again, we've said it before, to use secure send feature, because it basically makes the communication between you and the outsider happen only in Switzerland and doesn't leave any footprint all over the net. That's another reason why these hackers know that you do shop online, because sometimes you exchange an email with support of a company, or you're trying to exchange an item or look this and that, and they basically, or you get these notices from USPS or any, you know, FedEx or whatever, and they know that you're using your services. So the concept of what we do is we don't leave footprints all over the internet. The communications happen only in Switzerland, whether you are a user of Secure on the other end or not. We have countermeasures for that, and it definitely increases dramatically your privacy barrier there, and it reduces as well the footprint that you leave all over, all the marks, the fingerprints on the internet. That's what's critical to do.
And that's what we'll leave our viewers with today, to reduce their data footprint, to ask themselves, how much is privacy worth to them? And I know that you have a promo code for our viewers as well.
Yes, we have a promo code privacy, aptly named because we're all about privacy, and it gives you 15% off for the next 5 years on any of our solutions.
Fantastic. Well, privacy has arrived with Secure. Great speaking with you again, Alain.
Thanks, Anna. And go to secure.com, put that promo code, and enjoy your privacy, and be careful on the internet. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all for watching.